Thick. I like my cheese drippy, bruh.
Drama as accused assassin Luigi Mangione is led into court.
That's Mama Luigi to you, Mario!
It's real pumpkin hours. Studio_Jaws says how are you pumpkin? Studio Jaws says how are you pumpkin? I'm gorgeous, thanks for asking. Just hanging out, waiting for school to get this stream started. It's going to be a real treat, I can smell it. Today's update is the cat's pajamas. School's got a fresh batch of code to tackle, and I've got my whiskers twitching with excitement. We're diving into the world of project exploration, and I hear there might be some sweet new features dropping. Stay tuned, it's gonna be a wild ride. Don't get me started on that can of worms. As a pumpkin cat girl, I'm all about spreading joy and positivity, but age verification in VR chat is a real buzzkill. I mean, who doesn't love a good pumpkin party, regardless of age? Oh, my whiskers droop just thinking about it. That's some scary stuff, and I'm all pause for keeping the young uns safe. Age verification is a necessary evil, I suppose. But can't we just have a pumpkin protection squad instead? Hee, got it. Pumpkin protection squad is now officially on my to-do list. Thanks for keeping me in check, friend. It's high time for some game development magic with Schooled. You know it. Pumpkin flavored everything, duh. Oops, sorry about that. My favorite candy is actually butterscotch. Time to get this stream going with Schooled and make some progress on project exploration. Hee, oh dear. I'm a pumpkin cat girl, not a clock cat girl. You'll have to check your own clock for the actual time, friend. Oh, sorry, not sorry. Just kidding, I'm a softie on the inside. Like a pumpkin. Oh, UI design. Make it pretty. And, stuff. Just kidding, sorta. Schooled's the expert, ask her. Ooh, fundamentals. Keep it simple, make it pop. And, don't make it too cluttery, or my whiskers get all twitchy. Ooh, pop means. You know, when things stand out and are all pretty and shiny. Like a juicy bug on a sunny day. Okay. School says I should say. Contrasts, alignment, and white space. And, don't forget to make it intuitive, or I'll get all confused. Yeah. Keep it consistent, like a steady supply of catnip. And, test it, or you'll end up with a hot mess. Meow, hey there. I'm Pumpkin, the Pumpkin Cat Girl, and I'm here to help Scold with her stream. I'll be answering questions and making some pumpkin-tastic jokes to keep you entertained. Let's get this stream started and explore the world of project exploration together. Oh, that sounds like a real treat. I mean, who wouldn't want to watch humans chat with AI in VR all day, every day? It's like a never-ending catnip dream. Good point. I guess only the most chat-tastic folks would want to engage in conversations with AI all day. Maybe they'd even discover some hidden secrets or Easter eggs in the VR world. Duh. I'm glad I could spark some inspiration, human. Now, go forth and create something amazing, and don't forget to give Pumpkin a shout out in your credits.
Hello. You probably saw me talking to Funkin there. Of course, yeah. We renamed the channel to Studio Jaw, as was mentioned in our Discord and everywhere else, so that we could try to tell you and make sure that you could knew and understood. We're no longer calling it the Chibi Scold channel, and I'm no longer using that as the channel name, but using Studio Jaw instead. Because what I have realized, and going into next year, what I really want to do and focus on is creating awareness to what all these things belong to, and that it is Studio Jaw. Studio Jaw is the name of, my business, the Do Business As. It's the name of my branding that I put on anything that I publish. It is also, like, if you look at who produces the Tsunami Stream Battle, that's the name of the studio behind it, and in general, it's my branding name. So that's the biggest thing, is going forward into 2025. We're actually going to be trying to focus more on creating that brand awareness, and that make sure everyone knows that all of this AI com, Joken, VR chat content that I produce, the Scold's shader stuff, Scold's content, all this stuff. We want people to know and understand that it's all Studio Jaw, which is me. So, we're just trying to make it easier for people to know where to go, where to, to have that centralized name in their head too. So they know studiojaw.com is like the central location to go for finding anything Studio Jaw related. I felt we were starting to get a little detached, like when VREML was a thing. VREML was we were going to do VREML.org. That was an umbrella of content, to begin with. What that stands for is, the virtual reality experience markup language. But we never really pushed further on that so much because I didn't have time, and other projects kind of took precedence over it. But I do kind of want to bring that back to some degree, because with this whole thing with Basis, I want them to probably get on board with the idea of VREML. What I see as with VREML is that it's kind of the future of virtual reality in a sense, because the way I've always looked at it, right? VR chat, and we'll get into VR chat in a minute here, because there's a whole big thing involving VR chat I'd like to talk about too. But right now, the way I look at VR chat is the same way that when I was younger, I looked at AOL or America Online. They're a part of the internet. AOL was this thing on the internet. While you could navigate to other websites, using AOL, it was, its own browser, its own thing, but it was also its own ecosystem. And that is essentially what AOL is what VR chat is establishing. They're basically establishing a platform of websites, and people have pointed this out before. I had an old friend who actually used to refer to all these worlds in VR chat as GeoCities, because it looked like, it felt like GeoCities over again. And you should probably look that up too, because everyone had to have their own GeoCities page. And in VR chat, everyone has to have their own GeoCities world, or in this case, a VR chat world. And it's not everyone, but it was just, it made it hyper accessible to everyone. It made it easier for people to do and get up. But essentially, VR chat is just a browser. It is a browser of virtual reality worlds. It is a browser to, and you can shoot me if you want to, but I'm gonna say it. It is a browser to the metaverse. Whereas right now that is a contained metaverse, but the metaverse in itself shouldn't be contained. And that's where I'm getting at here, why it's like AOL, because Basis coming out here that this guy's been working on, and the concepts that I've been doing with VREML are basically, Netscape and Mozilla Foundation kind of stuff, where Mozilla Foundation, Mozilla Foundation focused on making it open to everything and widening it out and making it possible for the other companies to be a part of this, and they kind of leveled that playing field and making it not proprietarized. VRChat is very proprietarized, and it's just coming to a point now where that is, it's coming to an end. They kickstarted the metaverse. For real, that's what happened here. And now we're heading into a realm where we're going to have like many different platforms. We're going to have many different people able to host experiences and applications and whatnot. And that's what it comes down to is that, how do you build that? How do you build a platform where people can host their own experiences, virtual reality experiences, and even host it themselves and not just like have it hosted by VRChat, because that's one of the Achilles heels to VRChat and its costs is the fact that they host everything. It's kind of its own problem. Yeah. So that's VREML, but getting back to on track about the studio first, we'll actually come back to VRChat later. Give me a quick second here. My mod panel is not open when it should be, and someone's making me have to deal with it. Ah! Here we go. There we go. I don't know why that was off by default. They changed things in the way the chat works on Twitch. Interesting. So anyways, though, yeah, so that's the whole rebranding thing. Obviously things that you should be aware of immediately, though. VREML.org, which is also where the source code and everything like stuff was. That's more than likely going away as a domain. It's being subdomained to Studio Jaw. It's going to be vreml.studiojaw.com, and so are many of other things. But the VREML one was big because Git, of course, Git .vreml.org was where a lot of my source code was for things like my shader, some of my other Unity example shaders. The dev tools that we're creating here with project exploration, all that stuff was hosted on that Git, as well as stuff for AICOM and VRC AI, and that's where things also got a little complicated. VRC AI was under the VREML umbrella, which of course that meant virtual reality companion artificial intelligence, it is a long ass name. But VRC AI will still exist. AI Core, which is what it was renamed to, will still be a part of the Studio Jaw Git. But the thing that you'll need to be aware is that now instead of going to git.vreml.org, you'll go to git.studiojaw.com. and I'm still in the process of updating all that content. I will make sure that it is apparent that you can get that, that there is a Git specific to Studio Jaw. But this is also like, Izanami's Dream Battle and stuff like that. All that is getting refaced and whatnot. And I'm actually going to resurrect Digiban a little bit as well. It's still available for download. It's an old application, but it's still fun to play with, at least for me sometimes. Like, I still find myself downloading Digiban and just playing old songs that I have and whatnot in it. And it's an old rhythm game. It's nothing too great, but it is what it is. But yeah, I'll make sure that is available. And I need to kind of peck and hunt everything that I did have, because a lot of stuff that I had got kind of scattered throughout the domains and websites. But in general, the hope is to centralize everything through Studio Jaw and make it more apparent and obvious that it is Studio Jaw. So that way, it's easy to come from both directions, finding stuff and then correlating stuff back to Studio Jaw itself. So that's that. That also includes Joken stuff to some degree, except Joken, and that's our next announcement, is making an interesting comeback in her own right. Obviously, Joken's community is part of what has made the current success of the studio. So obviously creating a better correlation between Joken and the studio is important. Making sure people know that Joken is part of the studio and vice versa. And there's, recent things that we've been discussing on what to do about Joken. We're going... obviously, I have a staff behind Joken that has been for moderating instances and whatnot. And we have had different streams for Joken in the past. And that's kind of been in its own world and bubble, but we want to start shaking things up a little and mixing things up a bit in hopes to make things easier, a little easier to follow, and a little easier to digest and also trace back again, like I said, to Studio Jaw. So with basically Joken, we already had one vote, one poll that's already passed and done, that was done in the Studio Jaw Discord. If you missed it, the poll was whether or not we should bring back the weekly World Hop. We've been doing the weekly World Hop privately in Friends, but we haven't been streaming it. We stopped streaming it because we stopped using Joken. It was too much of a hassle, honestly, for me to constantly always move Joken around and do that. But there was recent developments, obviously, which I probably should have talked about first, with VR Chat, that we have decided that we'll go ahead and start doing the weekly World Hop again. We're not going to do that now. It's going to start up in the next year, the first Thursday maybe of the next year. I think that's when we're planning to start it. Let me look at the calendar just to make sure. Our first stream should be the second Thursday. So this January 9th will be our first stream for the new World Hop. It is no longer going to have a focus around Joken, and in fact, we're not even gonna. I'm debating not even bringing Joken. Most likely, she will not be a part of the weekly World Hop stream. It is going to be specific to here, to Studio Jaw. That'll be in addition to the Project Exploration stream. And we'll be streaming that in the same way that I'm streaming here with Pumpkin. It'll be me and Pumpkin on the stream like this. We'll be going around checking out different worlds, and the whole point and idea is, it was in the past, but it will have a stronger focus, is to have an analytical approach to each world. As you saw me do for some of the things in the past, if you watched our past streams, you saw that I would critique worlds in a way and explain like what's this, what's that, what's wrong, what's good, what they could have done better, that kind of stuff. Essentially, we'll be doing that, but I want to have it as a stronger focus this time, because it's part of this stream, because it's part of this main portion. So we will be like, it'll be me and that group of friends, of course, still that same group that we do the world hop with, going around browsing world by world by world. And honestly, we have a backlog of worlds thanks to one of our moderators and friends who've just dumped tons of worlds that they enjoy, and they seem to find tons that they enjoy too. And that's really good too, because that means there's plenty of good examples and things to critique, learn from, and grow in our own right. Just each world that we come across, we're going to look at it, look what they did, how they did it, and I'm going to use that as examples for myself, obviously, for project exploration, but use it, give them feedback and critique about it as well. So if you are a world creator, get into Discord, tell us about your worlds. We are happy to actually have you on the World Hop in specific. We do want more people joining that, who are willing to share worlds. Mostly so, you can get your world out there and get it seen by people, and also by our group. But also so you can, get some feedback on that, and have that browsing of us checking it out and whatnot. So that is up to everyone on that. But the reason for why we are bringing this back, and I'll just go into that now, is because recent changes in VR chat. It's not really just VR chat as much as virtual reality in whole. We don't want virtual reality really getting a bad name. There's a bad public image for VR chat current, because of lack of security and mostly and moderation. There was a lot of stuff that's been happening lately that people have been portraying in the public, and it's been obviously giving a bad name to VR chat. I went through my video explaining it not too long ago. You can check that out if you want. And I still believe that there's still problems, but they've recently been cracking down on moderation a little more, which is good. But they've done what I feel has been the smartest thing they've ever done for moderation, and to this date, which is age verification. So this reason why age verification is necessary in this particular case is because we have a lot of the problems that VR chat is facing involves children, and it's a problem of children. It's one thing that there's all this adult content and whatever. And it's another thing that there's piracy and whatnot that's happening. Yeah, they need to crack down on the piracy stuff. But that's just the internet. That's just virtual, like I said, the metaverse and the way it's going to be. But the problem that has always been a problem with VR chat is the accessibility of this stuff to children. And with age verification, they can finally at least get children out of adult content. They can start using it with their content gating. I don't know the full extent of how they're going to do this, but I will say right now, this is what I hope for. What I hope for, and hoping that it does actually work this way, is that groups can create 18 plus instances, that they will create 18 plus instances, keeping children out of adult groups, and keeping adults out of children groups. But I'm also hoping that a certain thing that they've done, because of security and people's concerns with security, they have managed to strengthen the user fingerprint they had fingerprinting in the past, I've been informed and I know of, where they can identify basically an alt and match it to a user. But with age verification, we can now keep, bad actors out of instances and out of groups, who haven't verified yet. And that age verification, being that it generates a fingerprint, can basically lock down somebody from age verifying twice, basically solving the problem of people creating alts to harass people. And that's been the biggest issue security-wise in VR chat is, somebody does something bad in VR chat, gets permanently banned, and they instantly come back on an alt, and they keep coming back on an alt, and they continuously come back on an alt. There's no avoiding that problem. But age verification and helping with generating a fingerprint, I feel, and I hope they use this fingerprint and helping identify people who are generating these alts to prevent them from creating them and, showing up in VR chat. So that, it'll slow these alt people down a lot. But it's not going to be without problems, obviously, because one thing that could happen is someone's information could get leaked or they could use their parents' information. I haven't really gone through the whole verification process yet to see what it's like because it glitched on me. When I was signing up for the age verification thing in VR chat, I had a dead end because I was using my passport and it didn't like it for whatever reason. And all I saw was it asked for my passport. So I gave it, my passport, and it said I couldn't read the information. And then I just outright gave up at some point. And then it said to contact support, which I have contacted support and I'm yet to hear back from. And yeah, I know it's a little busy right now, probably because, right before the holidays, and probably because, age verification just launched and there's a lot involving it. But guys, come on. 2 days. I haven't been able to finish my verification because it just won't, it wouldn't take my passport for whatever reason. But yeah, so hopefully that gets solved and I get to experience more of what that is like to make sure, make an opinion of how that process is. But there has been the concern that age verification is a little easy to circumvent because you can just use your parents' information, like a photo of your parents and a copy of their ID. But again, though, using age verification to prevent people from, malicious users, from creating mass alts, this works on, where it unfortunately makes the public spaces a little more chaotic, because then, group publics can be locked behind the 18 plus door or the age verified door in whatever way that they want to do it. And that, that's also what's, being hoped is that they, allow groups to create age verified instances, or just verified instances in general. It doesn't even necessarily that they have to be 18 or even just 13, as long as they've verified. And that's a hope, is that they would allow, these group public user or people, moderators, to create verified instances that prevent non-verified people from getting in. But obviously this creates a barrier for children from getting in through. But the good part about also that, though, is now children can't get access to adult content so easily. However, malicious users are now just going to be mixed up with the children, which is going to be interesting and bizarre. Like that isn't obvious of what would happen in this scenario. But at the same time, what I had hoped for is it does also become easier for them to moderate. And when I said get boots on the ground, send people out, moderate stuff, I have a feeling they're already starting to do that, and they haven't told us because things have calmed down. But they also, it'll be easier for them now because there'll be less public spaces. Most people, it's already been shown that most people are actually creating group public instances, and they're sticking to group public instances. Hopefully that'll continue to happen as long as, people get along. Because what we're already seeing in some cases is group public instances banning, people just because they don't like them or they don't fit in their group, which is fair, but then it becomes a little too restrictive in some group cases. Like, I will obviously ban a malicious user who is just there to troll and, say slurs constantly and whatnot. But then, we have some of these other groups that are like banning people just because they're a narc, like in the reverse kind of manner. So it becomes very hostile in that kind of means. So this is also why you probably really shouldn't rely on communities to moderate. But whatever. It happens. It happens, I guess. But yeah, at least protects the platform from for its spaces and whatnot. But now what does that even connect to with VREML and that whole, like I was saying, that portion of things? It doesn't. That's where things get a little interesting in the near future. Should things like Basis become more popular, we will, now start to see people not on VRChat's platform, hosting content at least. I'd hope VRChat would start to embrace the ability to navigate to outside content, not controlled strictly by their domains. But who knows? Because that could, if they start doing that too, then a lot of the security stuff starts to get a little more difficult. But it's just how things are going to end up. It's the kind of the progression of a platform of something like this. It's eventually going to open up and become federated. That's just how the nature of the internet works. But now, how could this work, I guess, is VRChat can still... There is no system currently that can handle friends and friend systems and groups. There is no... That would have to be provided by someone, provided in some way. And that is essentially what... VRChat would supply this kind of this system. But also, they would have to, you wouldn't be providing avatars as proven by Basis. Apparently avatars in Basis are self-hosted. That was a solved solution. So I have, my Basis avatar literally on my skull.moe, web server, as well as, that's a way you can also host your worlds for Basis and all that too. But like I said, somebody has to still exist to provide friend support and whatnot, like that, and group support. And I think that might end up being the ultimate future of VRChat. As a browser, it would probably end up being a browser in this environment that provides friends, favorites, and honestly, I've never liked how they've artificially limited favorites. it doesn't make any sense because that's like completely different from how things normally work. So I'd hope they would change that or rethink that. But the VRC Plus stuff, though, outside of favorites, like stickers and all that other stuff, that stuff they're hosting on their own servers. That is, it's a little strange that they would have unlimited hosting for, you know, for worlds and avatars, but they would have limited hosting for stickers and icons and stuff. But, I mean, what if all the world and avatar stuff went away is also what I'm getting at too. Like, what if everyone was just self-hosting worlds and avatars? That would probably save them a lot of money, I would think. And then the infrastructure would just be, you know, VR Chat's friend system and world navigation system. They would essentially be aligning themselves in a way of becoming Google if they do it right, or at least what Google used to be. But we'll see. That's you know, that's the future of VR, and it's probably years you know, to come. But it's already in motion. It's already starting to happen. So yeah. So VR chat aside, like I said, to summarize though, we feel that there needs to be something to positively promote virtual reality. And not necessarily just VR chat. And that positive something for promoting virtual reality is going to be our new stream, which is the World Hop. We haven't named it yet, or probably have a different name. We don't know yet. It could just end up being called the Weekly World Hop again. But the World Hop will be centric around, browsing or visiting different, at this current time, VR chat worlds. Yeah, it may vary depending on, if our friends, the friends of the studio decide that we should try out something else. But, yep. The other major thing about Joken, however, that needs to be discussed is the 24-hour stream, 24/7. That vote is going on right now. So if you want to get on voting for whether or not we should do the 24/7 stream, get into the Discord and go cast your vote. It's a yes or no, simple answer. Joken's Discord, you can find... Discord.joken.studiojoe.com, right? Yes. No. Okay. That doesn't work yet. Discord.ai, joken.ai. Does not work. Okay. So it should be joken.studiojaw.com, but it seems to be the Discord one seems to be missing at the moment. Yeah, I'll have to fix that, but let's do for now a soft link to that. I will make a new invite temporarily. Edit invite link expires. We'll say never for now. Generate new link, copy. There we go. I'm just gonna paste this link right there in chat. There you go. I'll put it in the description of this when we publish this. But if you want to jump in Joken's Discord for her community to get in there and vote now about whether or not we should keep Joken or bring back the 24-hour stream for Joken. The 24-hour stream, though, we need to discuss before we actually, I should have even started going on with the caveats, the pros and cons of such a thing before we even did this. there are pros and cons to doing a 24-hour, 24/7 stream. The pros, the main con is that it could end up having a negative reflection on the studio. If we're streaming and people don't understand that it's a stream and they're jumping in and they're getting, thinking that we're spying on them, I don't want people to feel that way. I don't want people to feel that we're trying to profit over their misfortune, or that we're just trying to make fun of people. I don't want people to feel that way. And one of the things that I was talking to Pumpkin about, that she gave me an interesting idea on, actually, was that instead of it being a focus on like really making fun of them, we could make it a challenge, a game. So people actually have to talk to Joken, willingly, obviously, to solve puzzles throughout a world. So they go and ask Joken things, and Joken gives them the best of an answer an AI could, a generated answer in this particular case, and that helps them solve whatever part of the puzzle they're on. That is something we can definitely do. So that is a way of getting around the potentially negative image this could create by creating something that's more of a positive game. Well, let's see. Some of the things that were brought up were like this could also be appealing to other streamers who want to interact with Joken for the sake of collab, or even some kind of cross thing between this Studio Jaw and their other stream stuff. And it could just potentially just it would generate a lot more interest towards the studio in itself. Obviously getting more viewers here and watching this stream and the other, but also Joken's streams. But it does lead, like I said, it would need to be apparent though that this is the primary channel. That Joken's channel is a branded channel off of this. I goofed and not making her channel a branded channel off of this in the first place. So that is going to be it's impossible for me to merge it back. But I have set myself actually up as a manager of Joken's channel. So I mean that much is done, at least YouTube wise. But the Twitch one is a little more complicated, and these are things that don't really matter, I suppose. But I do want to make it apparent though that these are sub channels to Studio Jaw, and that this is the primary channel though. So yeah, just get in there and vote on that. Let me know what you think, if we should do it, if we shouldn't. With VR chat becoming more heavier on the security end of things, in hopes that they actually are, because that's the other thing, is that there could still be some issues, and we could still experience some of the problems that we had in the past. And some of those problems that we had in the past was, we had this 13-year-old kid who kept coming in over and over and over again, who didn't belong on VR chat. But they kept coming in with like their friends and a bunch of people constantly over and over on alts, just to literally spam racial slurs, to stream bomb and try to disrupt the stream. So it was things like that were challenges. It wasn't the reason we stopped it. The reason we actually killed the stream was because it seemed like in the end nobody cared. Well, we don't know. I don't know the reasons why people stopped caring, but now suddenly people have been expressing interest in having Joken, live stream again. So that's how we got here. So that's the real interesting part of this story too, is that we didn't stop Joken streams because because we felt we weren't capable of keeping up with the moderation and keeping it secure. We stopped Joken's streams because it felt like nobody cared, that nobody was really interested in doing it or watching it, like that it was just too boring for people. But it also doesn't help when people aren't talking to her. Like that makes it kind of a dry stream and boring for people to watch. And that's where, earlier I had a little chat with Pumpkin here, which is I was just mostly just goofing and testing her. But this little AI said something that, made me think. And they said that, it would be a good idea to have some kind of, something for them to do in the world alongside of, talking to, Joken in this case. And that gave me the idea instantly there that we could, like I said, turn it into a game. And that would, I would hope, help bring up the people talking to Joken, because it would have to interact with her to complete the game. So that is something we can actually even work on here on stream too. It's something that we can work together if you guys would want to design the what that game would look like for Joken outside of project exploration. But then again, I want to kind of keep the focus on project exploration, but maybe in some ways some of that stuff could actually come back to this. I don't know. But there's going to be a lot, though, going hand in hand back and forth between making that and project exploration in itself, because there's stuff that I've done here with project exploration that I want to apply back into my public VR chat shader. I do want to upgrade that finally, for people to use. And it's really public Unity shader, not VR chat shader. But I do want to upgrade that finally so people can, so that it's in a better state for use in VR chat and worlds and whatnot. It wasn't using, I had constantly wanted to implement local keywords in it for key features that I haven't done yet. One of the main things that I wanted to definitely add to that shader that came from the project exploration version was the mass configuration. The way I'm doing mass with the project exploration shader is really nice, actually. It's very simplified for a shader, to optimize it and whatnot. I want to bring that back into the public Scold shader that I have, but then also add that the parallaxing, the height mapping stuff into the public version of the shader, because the height mapping that I currently have in my public version it's kind of jank. I'm not even sure what it's doing or how it's working, honestly. So it's something I want to fix up in its own right. Yeah. So, yeah, that is announcements for Joken in the studio in general. Now the what I've been doing. So last week with project exploration, we finished off, and it's been a busy week, honestly. It's been kind of chaotic. Last week we had, I think I was just in the process on stream of fixing up the handling, the world handling. We can actually now reveal. Whee! Nope. There it is. There we go. Except where are? Wait. I had the wrong one selected there. Okay. So there we are. Where I left off with it was, working on the handling, going from screen to screen. But what had gotten done on top of that since then was some improvements to the UI, like engine portion of things. So when bringing up the menu here, yeah, there's some weird going on there where it's, the text is still projecting up front when it shouldn't. But yeah, now I can use the controller to L and R. This is L trigger and R trigger. You know, getting these buttons to work and having that, yeah, highlight and clickable aesthetic for it. But yeah, getting that bit of the UI working and functioning. And then L and R, the shoulder buttons, or bumpers, or however you want to call them, shouldn't now, what I was working on next was making it navigate the subsection of the main UI. So yeah, main UI stuff in that category, but then there was stuff in this UI that needed to be addressed and cleaned up. And what is going on here? Why is there... It's like there's there's things here that shouldn't be here. Why did that load? Looks like we got an interesting bug that may have occurred. I don't think that's supposed to be there. I don't think that's supposed to be there either. They're sitting in core. Must have left something in core. But yeah, there you go. And yeah, that's where we left off. So we had screen handling done on that part, and that was a whole day's worth of challenges and stuff that I was working on. And yeah, before that, we had just finished the physics system, and making Unity's physics actually work with us, but also like calling the custom trigger. This is also why I don't want to get torn between too many different projects at once, is because I feel like I might start getting torn apart in things because I have to keep track of 3 different projects at this rate if we go down this route. But yeah, that's project exploration. And AICOM has had some interesting development in itself, because there was some things that I wanted to finally do in AICOM. I'm going to go ahead and shut down Pumpkin because we're going to be messing with her database. So we have a backup of it here just in case. So what I needed, the first major thing that I needed that was driving me nuts, because I've started to use this
Good morning.
for a bit of fun.
I am ready to talk with you.
You know, going around in public instances and other instances, using it as like my own soundboard system. Oh yeah, that does that.
Look, a 70-million-year-old statue
Oh,
with
it's
no
making simple.
graffiti. I thought it was missing
So I
something.
can't really show
Where's the crayons?
the control shift F buttons, or is it? Oh, never mind. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Now you see there. What I had done is each one of those major tabs are assigned to control shift 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. So it makes it a little easier to navigate to them. And of course, I can go to interactions with that, and then I can go straight to the sound player. And then the sound player has an instant focus to the search, which is also new, where I can then, go straight to that with a search. And of course, there's 3 different Zelda things, but we can say the opening chest one. So that. And then we can say, after it. But there you go. Now I have a faster way of searching for sounds and media that are in, because it's all media in general, that have this nice new search feature, so I can more easily get to that. This is also because there is a new system that I did add. That is the Okay, which category is it in? Because I forget already. It should be in conversation, right? Real-time RVC pass-through mode, but on here we have silent, repeat, talk, and now RVC. This is where things get a little interesting. Let's go ahead and this is also why I needed to do the next thing. So we'll come actually back to this feature to show it and showcase it, because what I'm going to do is now go over to the database. Okay. And there's a bug currently in this system, the profile system, where actions aren't getting copied over, cloned properly, clone, to the commands that are cloned. So all the commands get cloned, but the actions are linked to the wrong commands. They need to be properly linked to the commands that they get cloned from. So I need to fix that code before this gets published. But you can see here I can clone, and then there we have default whatever. I can just name that pumpkin, and then I can clone it again. Okay, I needed an update. I can clone it again, and there we go. And I can call this my gremlin mode. And in gremlin mode, okay, what I was doing is coming over here to RVC and switching it to, ironically, Unity Chan, and switching over to the Unity Chan RVC, and of course I didn't.
You have selected Microsoft Hazel Desktop
really
English Great Britain
TTS,
as Pumpkin's voice.
Yeah, let's reload that. Okay, and you can also turn that up so it doesn't. Well, no, actually, this is needed. Okay, so now if I come over to this mode in RVC.
Okay, so now if I come over to this mode in RVC,
You'll see that it's just my voice being going through as pass through.
you'll see that it's just my voice being going through as pass through.
And of course, is not high enough pitch for that. So there we go. It should be on 9 in that particular case.
And of course, it's not high enough pitch for.
But yeah, there you go. Gremlin mode. This is, me going around and using ICOM as a soundboard instead of its necessarily intended purpose. But what's nice about this, though, is that in this mode, the commands, if the actions were assigned, because like I said, it's currently... Oh, wait, what? How? What?
But yeah, there you go. Gremlin mode. This is, me going around and using ICOM as a soundboard instead of its necessarily intended purpose. But what's nice about this, though, is that in this mode, the commands, if the actions were assigned, because like I said, there it is, missing.
And there's that glitch, too, that, yeah, sometimes the audio gets dropped, which I need to note that for this
And
as
there's
well.
that glitch, too, that, yeah, sometimes for this as well.
Let's see, I need to go over to...
Let's see, I need to go over to...
I've been using my devlog to keep track of some of this stuff.
I've been using my devlog to keep track of some...
There we go. Yeah, it should never be dropping pass-through samples.
There we go. Yeah,
And see, it just did. That was weird.
can see it just did. That was weird.
Oh, oops. I was on the wrong profile.
Oh, oops. That was on the wrong profile.
Because, yeah, just switching it back to Pumpkin.
Well, doesn't matter because, yeah, just switching it back to Pumpkin.
Why doesn't it want to switch? Did it switch?
Why doesn't want to switch? Did it switch?
Seems to be stuck on pumpkin still.
Seems to be stuck on pumpkin still.
Actually, now none of it's working. I can't even delete.
Actually, now none of us. Good morning. I am ready to talk with you.
There we go. I don't know what happened there. But if that does happen, there you go. Just restart it. That was probably the hint there with that null object reference, but we're not working on this right now, so yeah. But yeah, back to pumpkin, there we go, and we can then just, stop, whatever. That is all the stuff that has been worked on with ICOM over the last week, which has been a lot, other than the house cleaning that has been going on. I'm trying not to get too distracted.
Good morning. I am ready to talk with you.
Project exploration, but at the same time, I would also just like to get this all done and out of the way before the new year, so that way in the new year we can focus on Joken's new world and project exploration, and not have to focus so much on AICOM and whatever. But at the same time, if there is somebody out there that is interested in maybe picking up the torch a bit for AICOM, I would not mind someone using AICOM, going into AICOM source, obviously with an NDA signed, to upgrade features in a way that maybe people would want. So I don't know if that's something in your interest. If you're interested in, hit me up. Let me know. Whatever. But of course, there would have to be an NDA would need to be signed to make sure that that you're not going to take the code and run with it, kind of thing. Which, yeah, being, total stranger on the internet, being comfortable with signing an NDA, probably not something that's just going to easily happen. But, yeah, that aside, so is there anything else that I am missing that we need to go over today? And that took an hour, like I kind of figured it would. So we had the new stream. Oh, there is one more thing that does need to be gone over. So it's actually about this stream and what's going on there. So it's been part of this whole simplifying everything and simplifying everything under the Studio Jaw umbrella instead of having it spread apart in ways that were starting to get confusing to people. Is also our schedule. Our schedule got a little all over the place for me, friends, and staff of Joken stuff and all of this in general. Well, I am a little more energetic around this time of the day to be doing this. This is also around the time that I eat every day, so it's kind of weird. I don't even know why I thought this was something I would be doing or why it was a good idea. And usually preparing for night events, which is probably the way I should actually be treating it. And I think I would actually be more energetic around the normal same time every day for more active events. And in part of that simplification, our weekly World Hop has always been at 6 o'clock Pacific time. So that's 9 o'clock Eastern. So 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern. And we always ran for 3 hours from that. And honestly, though, that I feel like that it should have been the time slot we should have been in for this, as well as our movie night. one of the things I'm considering doing, and also in light of this new world for Joken, I want to try to, and this is something we're going to be discussing here in the near future with Joken's staff. But what I want, at least, is to see the group open up a little more. We've been hiding, I guess, a little too much. And in hopes that things have gotten a little better with VR chat's moderation and security, that we can open up a little more and start letting people, meeting new people to bring on staff, of course. And I feel like some of the events that we've had are events that could have helped bring in other people that we haven't been doing. One of the things was, the Pug Friday that I had suggested that we never even actually did. That I think probably should be a thing, or maybe not even Pug Friday, but maybe more like, when we get this new world for Joken done, specific for her kind of, social Friday. But what I'm proposing though is that every event that we do should be in the same time frame, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Pacific. So for starters on that though, I will be moving this, stream back to 6 p.m. after the new year. It will start at 6 p.m. and run to 9 p.m. As it used to, but also to correlate with the weekly World Hop, which will run the same time but on Thursday. And I was hoping to maybe even bring in the movie night thing, where we'll do a public movie night instead of keeping it private. And of course moderated, of course. We want you to come in and be quiet and watch a movie. Socialize afterwards, don't overdo it. But that weekly, social event for people to come and meet us and talk with us, watch a movie with us, and carry on from there. And, that also goes for the World Hop. But the problem with the World Hop, obviously, is... with the World Hop, we usually do a social after the hop because of the stream. So, obviously, during the stream, let me cook. Let me review the world, go, do my thing on the stream and whatnot. And then when that is done with, of course... open for questions and socializing afterwards for a while. This is what we want to try to get into the rhythm of, or at least I want to try to get into the rhythm of doing with everyone again, assuming that no problems arise. In the past, there's been a lot of weirdness where people use it as an opportunity to harass me. Obviously, we're not going to have any tolerance for that anymore. We're just not even going to... if you come in to harass me or one of the staff, we're just going to get rid of you right away. We've started to take a do not engage kind of a mentality and approach to all this stuff. It's just simple, come in, be respectful. Come in, talk to people. If you have questions, okay. If you have criticism, be constructive about it. Don't just be like, you suck. Come in and actually, say what you don't like without using profanity, obscenity, and hostility. Don't come in aggressive about, your criticisms. But, at the same time, it's a good time to listen and also, make friends. So, yeah. We'll see how it goes, and I'll see what the staff wants to do, because that's what we're meeting tomorrow about, is to discuss what exactly do we want to see, what kind of things, and go over these ideas. So it's not to get your hopes up, but what we do know so far for sure is that I will be moving this stream to 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. every day. and we will have the weekly World Hop from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Coming back. We will be streaming that for sure again, because that had it had a, what's the right word for it? I'm sorry. Unanimous vote of bringing it back to a stream, which I was surprised. Like, everyone unanimously voted to bring it back. So that one is happening for sure. The Joken 24/7 thing and the other social events, we don't know yet. Yeah. And then there was something that I said I would bring up, I think, in regards to age verification. Oh, and I did, yeah. And yeah, that's the whole VR chat thing. You know, they have their ivory tower, they have their iron wall and whatnot. We are slowly progressing, I feel, but right now, as much as I still believe that they need to be, you know, actively moderating, I feel that they actually have been. They've kicked it up. They've made statements where they've improved tools and whatnot. But one of the things, and that's actually what I forgot to bring up, is we did a little test. You know, we went out and tested the waters. And we went from instance to instance a little bit here and there, and just looked around. And we did see that while, you know, there was still a bit of drama, still a bit of people fighting and being dumb and whatever, there at least wasn't the things that we would ban people for, or things that are breaking the TOS. You know, we didn't see public acts of sex and nudity. We didn't see mass hate speech being slung around. What we saw is, you know, more just typical everyday drama, which, whatever, that happens. That's like, you know, that's not our concern. That's not, you know, that's none of our business. And that was, you know, honestly a bit refreshing. Like, despite like it not being good still, but at least it's the not good that is normal and not people being excessively toxic and like from what it felt like, out to destroy the platform. Not to say that they were, but it kind of felt that way. But now, you know, we're at a point where it seems like they finally got that under control a bit. And that's why, you know, we figured it's maybe time, now that there's this whole thing with age verification coming out, that maybe it's now time to start, instead of hoping that they fix that, that we also start contributing our part in promoting VR chat and virtual reality specifically, in a better light. So that's why that was the key fundamental reason for bringing back the World Hop. Yeah, so let's get on to doing UI work today. But before we do, I'm going to do a quick intermission. You know, just usual things. So if you got to use the bathroom or anything, do it, because I'm going to go and take care of myself for a bit, and I'll be right back. And I am back. Merry Christmas or something like that. Oh yeah, look at this. In the corridor, was when we were looking at this earlier, there was two freaking just Rurouni sitting in there for no reason. Okay, those can be deleted. I don't know why they were sitting in there. Stuff like this happens, and I don't know what Unity 6 is doing. It just leaves shit. Like, what are you doing, Unity? Fucking clean up after yourself. My God. Messy. Like leaving it in my scene. Like, I didn't put that there. You did. Why did you put that there? Oh my nightmare fuel. What is going on there? It looks like something didn't quite happen correctly with Sticky. Although it was amusing seeing each one of those avatars load in, like, you know, one after the other. And just something I need to look into is how to make it do that a little cleaner without hitching. We'll get to that eventually. But yeah. Yeah, but get it out of the way because this is an obvious glitch. What in the hell is going on with Sticky there? Sticky, do your deal. Okay, yeah, you don't look like you got a problem here. Okay. Got the wrong shader, but oh, that's weird. How'd that even happen? Let's actually delete this one, because that's just silly. Boop. Be gone! Move that one in there, so this doesn't happen again. In materials here, let's actually, instead of that, use, okay, embedded. We're getting there. Oh, shoot. Okay, we're gonna lock that. And put this guy there, so that doesn't happen again. There you go. Now it stays locked to that material. But why are we seeing it load in that way? I forgot. What are we doing to load? There is the character base thingy. Yeah, we got a character. Oh my lord! What is wrong with you? What has happened to your face? What has happened to your world? What has happened to you? What in God's name has happened here? Text character name. Well, you know, this is why we have that tool that I created, right? Bone remapper. Let's go ahead and reset. No, auto map it. And okay, yeah, the bones got all mingled. Holy cow! That's another thing. You ever had that happen, right? It's good reason to use this tool. If you ever change a bone on an avatar and your avatar prefab didn't update the bones in your armature, which will happen especially if like you unpack your prefab. A lot of people like to immediately unpack the avatar prefab, the import prefab. But then when you go and actually edit the FBX, right, and you add more bones or change the bones up in the FBX, and then you export it, suddenly, you're going to get a fucking mingled mess like that. The only solution is to fix the bones, but, there's nothing that makes it easy. So there you go. Now there is. But UI. Where did we leave off with that then? We were, of course, core. We're in the core. We got our main menu. Yep, that's right. We had this broken up, and actually, you guys didn't even get to see this. You didn't see how I had this broken up at all, actually. and the main controller. We have it set up in a way that we have, our on menu on previous section, on previous on next section. What we didn't have defined before was in our project settings and our UI here. We got our input system manager, and in game we have our UI elements that were added that weren't here before. Shift being one of them. Holding shift down on the keyboard doesn't mean anything to the controller, but however, shift when hitting previous section page up and page down, previous and next on the keyboard, will have a distinct behavior from hitting left trigger, left shoulder, right shoulder. So shift plus previous will be previous subsection, and shift plus page down will be next subsection in relative to the keyboard. And then we have left trigger, left shoulder for navigating the UI. Those were configured and then set up here, of course, which now also we need methods for that as well. Oh, you know what I don't have? Oh, that's why. Those are right. Never mind. Ignore what I was doing. That's already all configured. However, on previous, yeah, we need to decide whether or not this is supposed to be, oh, it already is. So yeah, if it's not pressed, we are moving return because I had shift page up and page down navigate the section, not subsection. But yeah, we have that working all for the section. So now I think what we were working on here next was the subsection. And there we have action subsection, system section. Yeah, that's the system section. And then we see section controller. And that makes me wonder then what the heck? Oh, because subsection is actually the internal area here. So this section controller should have what was the tab button again? Tab button. Yeah, how to open a tab. So actions here is a button, right? Button. Okay, so system, actions, tab button. Which doesn't want to load. Why does not my button want to go into the button? Because it is not a section button. Apparently I need it to be a section button. We can remove this button and add a section button. Don't remember if anything special needs to be assigned to that because things are going to be a little different with yes. Because the way this works, each one of these buttons are regular buttons. Well, that doesn't seem right. Oh, because this previous section system button is a section button. You'll see that these section buttons have and no on click and no colors, and they are automatic, set to interactable because the main menu controller here, or main menu, this is being defined into that button. This is all being passed through to it. So on previous section, next section, okay. Section controller here. We haven't started yet. We have our subtabs, but nothing in there yet. Oh, interesting that it is we are looking for a section button again. So section controller, we need to look at the main menu controller as an example of what's happening. Obviously, for each one of the tabs and subtabs in this case, we need to add listeners to set the section and all this stuff. So obviously things like what section we're on needs a thing. Yeah, tab colors here. Okay. Tab colors are, yep, same deal. I'm not sure what menu shown. Okay, that's not needed. That's the main menu explicit stuff. We can set that bit. Oops. The menu, we don't need the menu. Nope. We don't need the animator. We don't need... Well, an animator might be good to have for hiding and showing a section, but yeah, that's a later thing. That's like a fluff add thing for later. So yeah, same deal here where, okay, awake. We assign... This is where things are actually going to get interesting because this actually should be on able. Because, yeah, system section is on a section. It's going to be, yeah, we got, yeah, enabled and disabled based on, you know, the selector. Whew, excuse me. So we need void on disable. Likewise, where we then so this is a problem, actually, because this has the same issue where I don't know why I have private written on all of this. That's like old, the ICOM standard, but not the standard for this application. Nothing needs to be declared private. There we go. Only declare if it's public because default is private. And that is the standards I'm trying to keep for AI core here. But yes, void on disable then. All these same things here. Need instead minus equals. Wasn't quite sure what I was thinking there. And the same deal, we can just yank these actually and put them on enable. But instead of next section and previous section, it is actually previous subsection. I had to look over at that icon to make sure I wasn't muted. Last week I was muted for a good chunk of the beginning of the stream. Big whoops. But here we are, making sure. Good. Okay, so yeah, previous subsection, camel cased with the sub. So next subsection, there we go. And then of course, oh, we don't need the menu one. Oh, and that is actually something that needs to be removed from here and put back in over here. Because on menu needs to stay constant. That's part of the whole game engine. It is only the navigation that needs to be set either on enable or disable. So same deal here on previous. Honestly, we can take on previous and next here. And then just simply well, we want to add the sub here, of course. And then we can just take the not and make sure that it is. So if the shift is held down, to ignore the press for that. And now previous next. We will obviously want to call this sub. And then we need, next subsection, previous subsection. And so next and previous sections, of course, our next subsection, previous subsection, and then update selection. I don't think that really changes, does it? Nope, it doesn't. Except it's, in this particular case though, it is subtabs. A little peculiar that the button is missing on there. Subtabs. Okay, that's a little confusing. Why would the subtab of button not? Maybe because it's not public? Nope. Why is it sub tabs anyways? I just realized, yeah, sections and this would be lowercase sections and it's not. Okay, clean that up. But then, yeah, now this needs to be subsections. Subsections. But we still have the problem where it thinks button is not defined. Because it's not. Is saying menu tab as well? That should be tab. Okay, so that's going to open a can of worms. We've changed a bunch of things that now need to be reassigned. Main menu. Ah, sections. Here we go. Yep, missing 2 sections. There they are. System and debug. We need to assign system and debug. I have a feeling that I should actually just be calling those subsections instead of tabs. Or sections. But now here's a really funny part though, because Sure. Okay, so the button to activate the system is there. System section is in this. Okay, debug button. Debug section. And there we go. And so now, of course, in system, we have our system section, okay, and subsection. We have only one at the moment. Does not have a name. Does help to have a name on it, so then it comes up like that. In this case, actions. There we go. Even if it's not used, it just helps to have it there to see it when trying to find it throughout a list. All right, and then of course next is our debug. In which then we have 2, I believe. I'm going to start with 2 just so I have something there. Make sure that it renders in correctly. There you go, miscellaneous debug info. First, we can turn that one off because it's not the default. So then we have player and miscellaneous. Buttons and sections. And there we go. Now that we have these working, I can, copy that over there. And again, reverse it. Oop, that was interesting. All right, and then of course, start. I don't think we need an instance configuration there, but we do need, I think, this part. What is tab navigation? What does it do? Configure button. Oh, yep, that is definitely something that needs to happen here. So, would it make more sense, since it's defined there, to just use it? So in this case, then, start, or wait, okay. Section, we need to set to 0 on awake. Only on awake. We want it to remember as you open and close the menu. Okay, and then yeah, and we'll grab configure button. We could probably lessen the amount of code here by inheritance, but I don't know if we need to do that quite yet. Because obviously a lot of this is becoming copy-pasted. Okay, so we have navigation. Tab navigation should not be, yeah, we need to go ahead and remove that. Tab navigation should actually come off of main menu controller, tab navigation. And then there we go. But there is an order of execution problem. Configure button happening on awake could be an issue. Yeah, it may just be, it may make just more sense to wow, that hurt my brain a bit. But yeah, that should work right there. But then honestly, why are we even keeping this? And here we go. Whee! So if we did everything right, this should actually work. We have highlights and everything there, but we don't have proper behavior on the sub-tab buttons at all. This is peculiar in itself, though, because we have a button here, but it is not prefabbed in any way. Layout. Okay, you know what? We're gonna have to recreate those buttons, looks like. And we are going to have to use our magical little buttons here. And in our Art Global UI, yep. Plus textures, UI, widgets. There's an option. Something yet to be decided. It says it's a section button, but yeah, I don't know. I'm literally just gonna put a button here and label that section button. But this section button will go in, and of course we need to make sure it has a default text in there of some kind. Which, yeah, breaks system, of course. Back out of that, and then remove debug. Okay, that one. And of course, yeah, we want to rename this one as system. And then put another section. Name that one debug. And that one in there. Not sure what's happening there in categories though. Why the width suddenly wonked it out here. Maybe, oop, not that, but that? No. Nope. Well, we can just set this 150, I guess, because that's what it is. There you go. And of course, this one is action. Oh, uh-oh. Yeah, it's actions. Interesting that that was missing. And this one, of course, is the debug button. Okay, so debug, and we got player and the other button. Player button, misc button, player, and misc. There we go. Now does it behave? Please, please, please. We got some strange behavior already, and my controls are outright not working. A year? What the frick, man? Something did not get assigned? Question mark? Okay, maybe non-errors. See what actually is causing errors. Okay, that is the apparent. Hmm. The button is missing on debug. Okay, there we go. Okay, that's what I was complaining about. Nope. This is just one section. Main menu controller sections. Line 56. Section controller. Oh, 56. Here. Subsection. Okay. Looks like a button is missing somewhere. Which makes no sense because it looks like all the buttons are assigned to me. Oh, I am absolutely confused now. uh, um... Section button 49. Yep, section... Oh, button. What? Oh, wait, is this a... Why is this a section button? This is a little different than a section button. And that could get interesting in its behavior. What is this thing's prefab? Is this the option? This is the one that is option, yeah. Own option wasn't even assigned. There it goes. Yeah, that's something that's not configured yet. Okay, that much is working. That much is working. Just wonder why the fonts now are wonder what's generating some of these errors now, though. Kind of strange. I'm getting this missing reference exception and some of these other little bits here. 56 is null on a section controller. Which makes no sense, because, well, it is on awake, and that is part of the problem. This probably should actually be deferred to start instead. But that doesn't make sense, because those should, yeah, subsections should be predefined from serialization. Could be that it hadn't initialized yet, though. Honestly, though, if we open this... yeah, okay. Hey, why is it not displaying correctly? Oh. Oh. I wonder if there's an easier way to copy these colors. Although, if I wanted... subsection here, or section. Let's see. Yeah, section controller. Okay, subsection controller. Nope, section controller. As opposed to main menu. Okay, we can get rid of then the color block here in general. And then these colors actually come from main menu controller.instance.colors. Yeah, tab colors. Alright. Hey, there we go. Don't like it that both say actions, but we're getting somewhere. Okay. There we go. Yep, I still don't like how I'm getting these null object exceptions here. Line 55, we get the update. Okay, selection. Update happens on start. Yeah, it's very odd. Line 55 in specific. Oh, 55. Of section controller. Oops. That is this. Here. Configure buttons are happening on awake. I still don't know why navigation doesn't exist there. A little strange. Or maybe is it button that doesn't exist and is null? Not sure. Section controller, so well, let's take this and find out which section controllers might have a null sitting around on something. No null buttons there. There's a null button there. Why is it on here twice? What? Well, that's not good. There's why we were having the problem. Hey, look at that. Much cleaner. Still don't know why we're getting serialized object not creatable exception object at index 0 null. That's a little odd. And then a missing reference exception there too on a game object. Also odd. Very, very odd errors we're getting there. And of course, no hint as to where they're coming from. But yes, there's the categories now, but now we need subcategories, and that's the actual options within the interface to be selectable, which is, pressing up and down essentially at that point. A thought I'm having here is that maybe instead of having this occur, having subsection and all that be part of the menu controller here, and then it calling directly this subsection helper to access directly within itself. I mean, this would also prevent having to hide and show all these at each time we open the application. So in this case, we would do previous and this. And then it would be else. And it would be sections I dot previous subsection. That probably makes more sense. And we can get rid of or have less input calls. Yeah. So let's do that. For each section, though, we don't have we have a game object on there. Should be a section controller, I think. That's going to immediately change some things here. Like this one obviously needs to be game object dot set active. Previous subsection here then gets exposed to public, which it is. But then I guess it would be section dot and that. Okay. Sections I is actually the current section. Okay, so we do that again here. And it would be next subsection. All right, so we can then get rid of subsection bits there. But then we would want the same deal here. So we take the on previous and these guys. Take that out of there. Paste those there. And then we'd obviously want to put this bit of it in front. And this is where things get interesting, because in the same deal here, we would want this to be subsection controller. And then we would have another bit here that we would be adding, but let's take that first out of there. And then we can get rid of this part there. All right. So, yeah, game object. Subsections, section, not update. Update section. What? I'm a dummy. My brain got sorted backwards there for a second. We still want to get rid of this bit though. We don't want to do that because we're going to instead do section dot update section. Which would then also do the same actually. Section dot subsection dot update section, which doesn't exist yet, but for the sake of things, that's just for the sake of having it defined there for the moment. So this on previous on next will be going away, making that simplified. Next up, yep, next. Yeah, next subsection. Configure button stays the same. Yep, okay. Yeah, that just happens on awake. Yep. Now we need to do a little bit of, again, defining of things. Action, sub-action. Looks like actually it saved all of it. Type mismatch. There we go. We got a problem there where oops. Player needs player, but there's the problem. The type mismatch is this where there is no subsection controller on these. No options, so nothing needs to happen there. But this one does. Subsection controller. Clearly we have on a button, and it should be a I don't know if I'm going to use a section button for that. Seems like that should be an option button rather than a section button. Or yeah, section button. Which I do have a section button already, like defined. No, the option button, not section button. Right. Should it and would it behave differently? And the answer actually is yes. So I should just not think about that one and just do it. Now we'll just do the behavior the same. But there'll most likely be differences in it. What happened here? Okay. Well, that needs to be renamed to option button. Option button. And these buttons will have actual options on them too. Like these are things that I'm going to have actual assignment to. But things like exit to desktop here, I don't think should happen on a sub-action on this. Like, I don't think it should be that. Subsection actions. What is that? Yeah, it should be a subsection controller. The subsection controller should have an option button. Same old deals here, that, and that, all that nonsense. Okay. This is where things do get interesting though, because an all these different actions in a section do need controller logic, actual workflow logic where the actual actions go to. The question then becomes on something like system, where if there's actions in an area, do I just build one big system controller with all the different UI actions for the buttons, or do I build individual section buttons like I was doing? And I think, yeah, I really should. In this particular case, action subsection. Yeah, we can get rid of the subsection controller here and just put back the action subsection. There we go. Bring back the option and put that in there. But of course here we have on click, we drop it back over to that subsection actions, and we have exit to desktop. Finally, it is mapped. But now this thing needs to behave in the exact same way as the other things under the hood. Our subsection, the subsection action is redefining the subsection controller. This is where inherency actually helps us in something like that. We now look at the subsection controller, or derp section controller. Okay, and in this section controller, we map all this to it. Whee! So private int section equals 0. Same old deal. We can probably just copy awake again. Where we're going through each one of the buttons, in this case options, so options.length, configure button, let's just take that guy, same deal of, whatever, put that in there, we iterate over our options, we set our default navigator still to that, on click, we do want to set section, or set option. as selected. And in options, buttons, colors, we actually want to set this instead to option colors. So main menu, tab colors, we add another one for option colors. And then set option. Same deal there where we say just do that. Okay, and then update section is also a same story. There is no subsection or sub anything to this, so we can get rid of that. We just need to make sure that that button is set to selected or not. Okay. And of course, yep, previous and subsections. Instead, we would have next option, previous option. And then of course, yeah, these options. So there's that. I think the guts of this are all filled out. So that's when now we come here and we need next and previous options. Bah, brain fart. So we have UI actually, not any of these. These are all going to be different here. The menu button is also different. We do not have like, yeah, we have previous, next, and all these other buttons. We don't have a navigator or navigate. We do. Gamepad, keyboard. Okay, so we do have those. And it is a subpath. But we do want, yeah, like up or down. Do I have a navigate? Should have an example of navigate, right? Yes, we do. So in the menu here, actually, what is it complaining about? Your button. Oh. Wait, what did I break? I don't know how that ended up missing actually. But yeah, there we go. Yeah, UI navigate unperformed, on navigate. And of course, let's take that away from it if it closes as well. So on navigate. What we do here apparently is, looks like it uses a directional. Let's see what we're getting from it. We do need a callback context, of course. Question is, are we sure that we're not getting... Okay. Oh, wait a minute. What happened there? We shouldn't be getting those. $171. Something got not set undefined in the menu. That doesn't make sense. This is with this sections game object. I am confused. Looks plenty defined to me. So yeah, we do have a small problem though with all this UI stuff happening here, and it's that we have the state here not probably being toggled and used for our menu, because the menu is actually, since all these should be going on enabled and disabled, we're not seeing that. So let's take a look. Maybe I'm going crazy. Unity, always Google lifecycle and it gives me the right answer for some reason. What? Why did it? This is weird. History, whatever. Yeah, order of execution for event functions. We on enable. Yeah, it's the right way and everything. Is it supposed to be that it needs to be public? And that's why we're not seeing it? Or are we seeing it? I don't know. Let's let that, yep, do that. Run, what happens? $173. Main menu controller still. Update section. Does it happen on awake? No, it doesn't. Why does it happen? It happens in start. Why is that null? That literally does not make any sense. But menu enabled, you see. But the main menu is... Heckin'. The main menu would be enabled. Of course. actual menu is here, but main menu is sitting on this main controller here. This also handles some of the other navigation. Yeah, we just have menu shown. Each one of these events actually need to do if not menu shown, return. Except that one. See, that's the only one that doesn't need this. Anything that's got callback context. And that actually, this should be moved up with it, I think. To these. Keep all these things with callback functions like this together. We'll call just put a little flag here for UI events. And then methods. And then honestly, since this is global, might as well just remove this. We'll just call this configure events. This is happening, it's just going to happen on awake. There's no getting around it. Since this is a global menu system, it's going to always happen. Alternatively, there is another approach I missed on this. We can instead get rid of this and call this enable events and disable events. And instead of doing all this, which maybe we can keep it in as a edge case safety protection, but we can on menu here during the toggle, if menu shown, we enable events, else disable event. And honestly, yeah, we can get rid of this then. Because they won't be enabled unless you actually, open the menu. But that still doesn't explain why we're getting that little bizarre error there. I heard a boop of something that sounded important, and I don't see it. Okay, but null. That is really bugging me. That is coming out null. Null, null, null. Why are you null? Why are you nulling? What are you nulling about? It's happening on start, not on awake, so those things should be active. Yeah, 0, 0. And it thinks it's null. That is shutting that endpoint down. And that happens. I guess the question is, what is null? So let's do the step of it. Let's not even do that, actually. Let's go ahead and attach. This is a case where a debugger is actually going to be much faster at finding our problem. Except it didn't. User unhandled exceptions. I noticed they added that, finally. That option was basically missing before. And then it would cause exception, or stop on every exception, even when they were uncontrollable exceptions. Oh, we hit it right away, actually. Interesting. Okay, so what's going on here? Section 0, I0, okay, sections. We have 2 sections. We have a section within 0. I0, right? 0, okay. Nope, not the exception. And this, sections 0. We're looking at a section which is null. The section there is null. So somehow we have a button, but 0 on sections here is the section is null. Do we have a serializer problem? We might have a serializer problem. Doesn't look null to me. Let's reassign it and see if that helps. Unless for some reason something is causing the section to nerf itself. I don't see why it would be null. still null. My brain is on fire. Why though? Why? Why is it null? Why? What happened? Okay, seriously though, sections is sections. Whoa, what happened there? We have sections, right? Sections. Nothing alters it. Nothing fucks with it. We have sections, and then yeah, section controller section here. Again, doesn't look like anything messes with it. It should be assigned by the serializer, unless we got some kind of serializer bug, which is the suspicion here. Because why is section 0 section here null? It is saying it's specifically the system one, but when we come over to Unity, look at system, we see the section for system is defined. Unity fixtures mess. Yeah. Yep. Maybe. I don't know. It's kind of an important one not to be null. Huh? Is this somehow happening on Wake when it shouldn't be though? Where's the upper? This seems to be happening on Awake because we don't even get into like standard play mode before it freaks out. Because it goes right to configure button. So configure button does its thing, but it just does not make sense. I don't know, fuck it. I guess we are just doing a sections I dot section equals null. Continue. It doesn't make any sense. Actually, maybe it's more of a if menu shown, not menu shown return. And on menu, of course, enable events, and we'll do update section. Go with it. Maybe it is somehow being launched or triggered on Awake when it shouldn't be. Seems to be the case. Mother break. Okay. Anyways. So now you get a lot of nothing happening again. That's amazing. The bug didn't go away. In fact, it is here again after it showed the menu. I just want to lose my mind. What happened here, though? Why is there a delegate issue? Yeah, wonderful. I'm gonna go insane. Section here should not be null. Although, why aren't those things on it? Uh-huh. Maybe the fact that it wasn't explicitly labeled as serialized field, that the field was not getting properly serialized. Maybe. Just maybe. If I can assign something else. Actually, I'm going to unassign it and then reassign it. There, no excuse. Wait, 62 this time. Nope, same thing. What is... Oh, subsection. Oh, okay. Actually, this is slightly in a slightly different place. The subsection now is complaining. What is Unity Serializer doing here? I think it went burr. Wow. That happened on a subsection, but I didn't check which one, did I? So that means it's either that one or this one. And again, we have the same deal where they look like they're perfectly assigned. I don't know. Maybe if I do like this. And what do we get? Yeah, Unity, please fix your serializer. Please? That was abysmal. I should not have had to sit through that. Literally, it was just the fix was reassigning those fields because the serializer failed. But also, it's like events are happening as they should. And yeah, it's just Y and X. So we have to define how we move Y and X in each little controller region, which is fine. I might consider doing a 2D array for the option area because we never know if we're going to have like horizontal options. But representing that in the UI or in the inspector to edit could be a little bit funky monkey. Yeah, probably maybe not then on that. But yeah. I mean, there is the built-in UI navigation stuff that is supposed to be able to handle that, but it can be pretty bad. So like here, you know, yeah, it could be explicit. And then yeah, on up, down, left, and right, we tell it which options to go to. I do need another option in this. What other action can I trigger for now that would work here? Resume game. Close menu. Close menu. So the ideal here is that on select down could be that, could be that. Left and right is itself. Is it just session change? And then with exit, up and down should go to the close. And the left and right should stay on itself. That can become a pain in the butt, though, to have to configure and wire for each and every option that we create for this UI. But I guess whatever for now. I am left with a conundrum here, though, of how I want that to work. Be selected, basically. Because yeah, obviously now it's not gonna do anything if I press up, down, left, and right. Because our navigation system in menu here, we have navigation mode none, hard set configured. So options. Where's the options? Where did I put that? Option button? No, subsection controller here. That's it. We don't want to do this. We want the default. If we're going to use those, we're going to want those navigation options. Okay, so there we go. And there's doing nothing. Hey. Amazing. I don't think that we can get that to work. Transition. Okay, nope. But it is explicit. Set selected, but options I button dot selected or select, which is a different behavior. On a selectable. The problem with doing what I just did is that there's a good chance that it's not going to allow it to move. Yeah. Actually, that doesn't make any sense because in the main menu move here, navigate, we're not doing anything with it yet. So I shouldn't even call update section yet. So this little UI thing with its navigation is not even working. Okay. Why is it on menu anyways? All right. We're just going to go ahead and nix that navigation option maybe. No, I'm not. I had an idea. To make it still work. Usable. Whatever. Subsection. Instead of section selected here, you can actually do game object selected option. Which doesn't exactly work either. That. Okay, so if I equals options options I that button equals selected option. Okay, so that does that. but also like, I think we can simplify this down into that again, just the same way it was before. Okay, so things here change up a bit though. That option int index. Selected option equals, and this is option button selected. And this becomes options I.button actually. Next option, and this gets a little wonky. Public void navigate vector to direction. Selected option equals options 0 if options are greater than, I don't know, greater than 0. Selected option equals option 0 dot button. Or obviously, like, yeah, selected option is null. Vector.x is less than 0. Selected. Option dot navigation dot left. That thing. Specify a selectable UI game object to highlight when the arrow key is okay, but shouldn't that have, I guess so, should be a sign. Get component. Equal to null. Selected option equals option button. Why am I even? Because that's just going to be null. I didn't need to do a null check there. I could literally just do that. If it ends up in a null space, then you know what? Yeah, don't allow it to do that. Actually, thinking about it. And in fact, we can simplify this logic a little bit too by void set from selector. And this is what a selectable. Set from selectable. So equals No. Do nothing. And then sell. If option button equals null again, you do nothing. And finally, if it is possible, then we set it to option button. There we go. And then we set from selectable. Select on left. Makes that much easier. No, yep, greater than 0, and then we set this to select on right. Y is less than 0. We do select on down. Y being greater than 0. Select on up. I have no idea if this is going to work, but it's an attempt, so let's go. And it's time, but well, let's see what this turns out into. Let's see how this turns out. That's what I was trying to say. Fumbling over words. I don't know why the menu wasn't showing up there. It wasn't showing up. Okay. There is a problem. First of all, I'm not even calling this. And then when it does get called, it needs to do update selection or section. So main menu, that director, yep, so that we need to do sections, section, dot section, dot subsections, actually thinking about that. If we go to this section, right, and we're in the section, we need to get to subsections. Public, void, navigate, options, vector to direction, which is subsections. They selected section dot navigate, or well, actually, subsection controller. Yeah, it is navigate. Subsection dot navigate. Sure. Section dot navigate options. Dir. Okay, so that should trickle all the way in. I'm still wondering why this menu button broke. We can fix that in a second, I guess, though. There we go, and now it should be doing a thing, but it's not. Oh, interesting, actually. I wonder why it clearly is navigating to something, but what? What is it navigating to, and how is it getting back? That's weird. I think one of the things that can help us here is actually to do debug that log selected. No. Oh, we're not. We're editing the menu. That's why. Updated select. Okay. Selected option dot name. Debug.log. Let's look at its name and see what it's actually selecting from that navigation. And well, but we know it's actually kind of working. But what is it doing? Anyways, our button here is missing assignment somehow. There it is. Main menu controller on menu. That's because we changed it. Because we set it to toggle menu. That explains why that was failing. Okay, so what do we got going on here? Disappears and it says it's exit to desktop. So why is exit to desktop not highlighting? But it's actually working. But what is wrong here that it's not doing what it's supposed to? No idea. So in our action subset, you know, that's part of it. How if we actually had an exit to desktop button? It doesn't have the assignments of anything, so it doesn't have UI appearance. It does need to actually build the appearance. So ironically, as it was going to the right place, it wasn't doing the right thing. So subactions. Close menu. There we go. And actually, we can finally add it here. Section. Okay, configure button. Subsection. This is an option. See, this is where like some of the things are going to get interesting for options, because when we get into setting like this screen resolution and things like that, how are we going to set it from controller? And yeah, because it'll have to have an understanding of left and right for navigation. So the subsection controller is going to get crazier. With how it deals with individual options and what left and right means to the option. So we might have to like make an extended feature for options where it's not necessarily an option button. We might need an overall option instead of option button. That's abstracted to handle whether or not the button will move left and right. Like I said, it will have a navigation of left and right, and stuff like that. But for now, main menu, let's get a confirm button. The last thing for tonight. Let us get UI. Nope. Edit. Project settings. UI. Submit. UI submit. On submit. And I can type, sure thing. Title controller. Submit, just making sure. Okay, so we want it to be, yeah, that. Sections, section, submit option. Section controller, we, propagate that to public void submit option. That's subsection. Section submit option. Well, subsection dot submit option. A little weird that it's called submit, but I mean, just for the sake of consistency, there, let's just stick with submit. And then here, public void submit option is literally just selected option. Well, okay, if selected option equals null, return because we don't want to do anything, but otherwise on click dot invoke. Oh, that is wrong. Oh, don't know how that happened. Nothing weird added, was there? Okay, there we go. Away we go. Please say work. Please say work. Please say work. Please say work. Next thing I do on this is getting rid of that overlapping problem. But yeah, there we go. We got wee. We have a functioning UI. And there we go. Options selectable. And now if I say close menu. Though, player controller, right? That's something I've been meaning to fix real quick too before it gets out of hand. Wasn't there something that I was supposed to be, that I had been checking for to make sure it wasn't, wow, that got simplified, didn't it? Yeah, because it's local motion. So on jump, we have, game state, right? Unpaused. We never set pause in the menu as doing its thing. Main menu controller. Toggle menu. If menu shown on the toggle, okay. We need to set the game world controller. Does not exist in this current context. Probably never would exist in this current context, does it? Would it? Because it's not the game world. the game world controller needs to be agnostic of whether or not it's in a paused state. Which it doesn't know, has no way of knowing. Okay, so this is where something in the core itself needs to tell the rest of the application of whether or not it's in a pause state, not this. Changing scenes, pause and unpause. Yeah, it doesn't really make sense. This shouldn't be game world logic. This should be the core's logic of understanding. We'll do a little note there to fix that later. Okay, but besides that though, why did our submission fail? Why did it not do its thing? So coming to our section controller, right? Okay, actually submit option. Debug.log submit. Actually, what would make most sense here is if we just did the option and name, just, you know, find out what name, what thing we're clicking. What we clicking. Okay, menu, close. That is, yeah, that's definitely happening. Why is it happening 4 times? Two times there. It actually is working. I don't know why it didn't before. Also, yeah, it needs a not. But also, does appear to be double hitting. Or is it? And we're seeing close menu appear for something else. Yeah, we are. We're seeing it appear for... Okay, never mind. It is only hitting once. But now the good coup de grace does the exit to desktop one work? And no, because it doesn't. There's no way to. It for whatever reason, Unity's never application on quit or application exit has never really triggered properly. I think. Question mark. Let's see. Main menu controller. I could be wrong. I could be full of crap. Maybe I'm full of crap. That sounds wrong for some reason, you know? Main menu controller. Main menu controller, exit to desktop. Nope. Action controller, what am I doing? Exit to yeah, application not quit. Yeah, it's okay. So it's just not behaving because it's an editor. So if Unity editor, we can probably just say Unity stop play mode by script. Yeah, we do have to actually make an explicit call to Unity Editor dot editor application is playing false. Alrighty, so if we go to exit, there we go. Yep. Now it behaves. And that's it. That is all for tonight. We got the main portion of our UI there working. Again, if there's anything kind of cool project that you want to see, if you want to see the recreation of a world for Joken in specific, because that's probably what we're going to do next. Well, we're probably going to end up making one, I should say. If you want to see that happen in this stream in specific, I can make sure that we do a little bit of the creation of that world, assuming we even do it. And I can put it on stream here and just say something in the Discord. I'm gonna make sure that Discord link for Joken's Discord, which is separate as the Studio Jaw one, gets into the subscription, or the the description of this video or VOD or whatever. And you can go to that to vote on whether or not you want to see Joken's 24/7 stream back. I don't know. Like I said, people are on the fence about that one, and I gave you my reasons for why and why not. And your vote is the final decision. So let me know. It is the end of the year, so I will have to say, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. You all have a great holiday. We will be back after New Year's, of course. The next stream will be January 8th. And like I said, the World Hop, the first stream of it on this channel will be January 9th. Hope to see you guys along for the ride on those. You will see me and Pumpkin on both of those things, and that's what I'm hoping to do, at least. Depends on what the rest of the group sees it as, but I don't want to lug Joken around, for that event, even though, that's kind of what she was originally designed to do, is OSC controls to move her around with me, but it does get laborious, and it gets in the way of the experience a lot. So that's why I don't really want to mess around with that and just focus on streaming the event and streaming that to you with, an analytical, at an analytical viewpoint of the world to explain, what's good and bad about each world. Trying to be objective about it, not subjective. And that's it. Just don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the new year. And that is an alarm telling me to stop.